All right, hey guys, Jason here. We are up here. We're at J.C. Lewis Ford, and believe it or not, interestingly, there is only two mid-size trucks on this entire lot. There is this Gladiator behind me. It's on 37s. My Gladiator sitting right there. So, actually, there's a Tacoma 3rd Gen up there. Those are the only mid-size trucks on here, but we're going to be talking about mid-size trucks today. Real quickly, though, take a look at that. Used, we got a Rubicon, beautiful Gladiator Rubicon on 37 1250s. Thing looks amazing. I love it. I would love to set mine up that way, but I'm just not doing it. I'm not going to go through the trouble of doing it. I'll stick with my 35s. But, man, that looks amazing. However, we want to talk today about payments for any mid-size truck. Doesn't matter if it's a Gladiator. It doesn't matter if it's a Ranger, which they don't have here. Oh, there's a Ranger. We do got a Ranger. I lied. Here you go. Probably the best Ranger ever built. This is a mid-90s right here, maybe early 2000s. Look at that sweetie. Man, I had one just like that. The Edge model was lifted, but the Edge that they have on here, Edge model had a lift to it, still a 4-cylinder, and it did not have 4-wheel drive, though. 2-wheel drive, kind of like a Nissan Pro X would be. This was that version back then, or a Toyota Pre-Runner. The Edge was Ford's version of a 2-wheel drive, but lifted version. But what an awesome truck. I had a 93 or 96 like this. I don't remember which one it was, but God, what a great truck. But if you're buying a new midsize today, what's it going to cost you payment-wise? For example, my 91 S10 that I bought brand new, my first new truck, my third vehicle that I bought, but my first brand new vehicle, 91 Chevy S10, I paid $7,200 brand new for, out the door, everything, and I had to fight with them to put the $100 bumper on it. No radio, no air, no nothing. And but what are we at today? So if you want to buy a new Colorado, a new Ranger, a new Canyon, you want to buy a Nissan Frontier, any of these, Honda Ridgeline, what will it cost you? Well, I went through, you can see I got a lot of real detailed stuff on here that is going to break it down for you. We used car payment calculator, the one that you get on calculator.net. Everybody asks me where you get the calculator from, the car payment calculator. There are tons of them out there. They will all cost you, not cost you money, but they will cost you to put in their email address. We don't want to do any of that crap. And then many of them are like too complicated. Listen, calculator.net, and then go to the auto calculator. That's all you got to do, okay? If you just type in on your Google, type in car payment calculator, calculator.net, and it'll pop it right up on the first one for you. It will show you how to do these numbers and how to use this. It is one of the most valuable tools you can have for buying your new vehicle. So, diving into it, mid-size payments, I have it broke down at 40 grand, 45 grand, and 50 grand for your out-the-door payments on here. So it depends on what you're getting. Okay, if you're buying a, if you're getting a Gladiator, you might be coming in at the $45,000 mark, maybe even the $50,000. If you're buying a Nissan SV, you might be coming in at the $40,000 range. So it varies. So I gave you all three, and we also are going to break it up. Here's the parameters for how we're going to dial this in so that it is apples to apples. This is going to be at we're going to do it at 3 different interest rates: 5%, 3%, and 8%. So it's got everybody covered in there. We're going to do it at a 7% tax rate. Again, if you want to see this for your vehicle, just change the numbers on calculator.net. We are doing it with 0% down to keep it apples to apples, and we are doing it with $1,000 in fees like doc fee and stuff like that, and tax and title and things like that added into here. So that is the parameters for all these. So for a $40,000, making sure I got everything in there I mentioned in there, I did. We're going to do 60, 72, and 84. It's real quick and easy. We're going to burn through these things pretty fast for you. But again, I know people, well, nobody would ever buy a car with not putting anything down. No, really? Okay, fine. Figure it out for yourself. I just told you how to do it on here. Nobody would ever get it for, but nobody ever pay percent interest rate. Fine, change it for yours, okay? I'm giving you an apples to apples comparison, adjust as needed. Here we go. So for $40,000, $40,000 out the door price, tax, your title, everything like that included. If you are doing it at 5%, which we're gonna always start with the 5 because it's the middle, It's going to be $826 for 60 months, for 5 years, $826. This gives you an idea what you can expect when you come to the lot and you start looking and crunching the numbers. This will put it in your head. You know what kind of budget your vehicle you're looking at. You're like, okay, my next truck, I'm figuring it's going to be 40 grand total. This is going to give you the reality. It's going to save you the hassle. 60 months, $40,000, $826 a month payment. If you stretch it out to 72, you're at $705. Stretch it out to 84, you're at $620. Okay, it's a long time, but big difference between 620 and 826. That's a $200 a month difference between 60 months and 84 months, but obviously it's a bigger hit on interest. That's at 5%. On 40,000, if you have great credit and you can get a good 2.9 something kind of deal or a 3% deal through some of the manufacturer's incentives, your 60 months becomes $787, your 72 becomes $665, and your 84 becomes $578. Okay, that's for a $40,000 truck. Now on the other side, if your credit's not quite so good and you're going to end up at 8%, which is still very common by today's standards, you're going to end up at 8%. Your 60 months is going to be $888 on 40 grand. Your 72 months will be $767, and your 84 months will be $682. 682 is where you're going to come in at. So again, you can see there on this pretty big difference. $200 a month difference between 5 years and 8 years. Okay, big difference in there. So or 5 years and 7 years. So you know, it's a $200 a month difference, but you're paying more in interest. You got to understand that and keep that in the back of your head. Now, what if you go to $45,000, which is probably going to be more in that real world realm for what people are looking for, somewhere in that neighborhood. So you go 45,000. For 45,000 with 5%, let's stick with the average in the middle first. 60 months, 45,000, you're at $927. You are getting pretty close to that $1,000 a month mark on these conditions. That's 5% credit. Going to 72 months on 45K is going to take you to $791, and going 84 months is going to take you to $694. You can see here that the same kind of thing applies. About $225 a month difference between that 2-year spread on there. Now, if you got the great credit and you're going to go down to 3%, you're going to be $883 for 60 months, $746 for 72, and $649 for 84. So you can kind of follow that same line. Again, a couple $100 difference in there between the two spreads. 8% credit, somebody who's not doing that great, but 8% credit, you're coming in at $996. So you are literally $1,000 a month payment on a 45 grand truck, $45,000 price. For 60 months, you're basically looking at $1,000 a month is where you're going to come in at. When you get to 72 months, you're going to drop that down to $861. And when you get to 84, you're going down to $766. So that's going to be a big difference for you as well, too. So there it is. And it's where you're going to end up at. Sorry, people driving by here. But now that's 45K. Now, what happens when you hit 50? $50,000, which is where a lot of people are going to be when you come to out-the-door pricing. If you're not real good at negotiating, most people are going to buy a Gladiator. They're going to be, if you're getting a Rubicon or a Mojave, you're going to be about $45,000. When you start looking at a Nissan Pro 4X and you're not getting good deals on it, you're going to be $50,000. Tax and titles and add-ons and any of the kind of stuff that are coming through there. Same with you want a Lariat Ranger, you're going to be $50,000. Okay, this is pretty common stuff. You want a ZR2 Colorado, it'll be $50,000. So there's a lot of midsize that are creeping up on that $50,000 range pretty dang easily. What does that do for you number-wise? Where are you going to hit? Well, sticking to the 5% average, 60 months on $50,000 with our parameters puts you at $1,028 a month for 5 years. If you stretch it out to 6 years, it takes you down to $877. And if you stretch it out to 7 years, it takes you to $790 a month. Man, those numbers are hard to swallow. Man, that is a hard number to swallow, but it gets worse when you get to 8. But let's look at 3%. So if you got better credit, you find a good 2.9% deal, something like that. On 60 months, you're $979. You're still right hovering at that $1,000 range for 60 months on 50 grand. 72 months, you're at $878. Okay, so again, a little bit better, but not great. And if you're at 84 months, you're going down to $720. Now, $720 on a $50,000 loan may not seem like it's that bad of a deal, but the kicker part of that is that you're talking about going out 7 years. 7 years is brutal on it. Now, here's where it gets really tough. What if you are at the 8% range? Where are we at on here? I'm just looking. If you're at 8%, and you're going to do $50,000. Okay, again, a real number. Many people in the country today have loans way higher than $50,000, and they have rates higher than 8%. Many do. 8% still is not that ridiculous today in the real world grand scheme of things. Even though the internet loves to tell you that, that if you get higher than 3%, you're an idiot. Okay, yet it's like in 2024. I want to say that the people that got less than 5% was like 3% of people. It's a very low number. But so where would you be? 8% for 6 years or for 5 years, 60 months, 8% on $50,000, $1,105. $1,105. That is a seriously powerful number right there. That hurts. $1,100 a month. If you stretch it out to 72 months, you're at $955. Right around that $1,000 mark. And if you stretch it out to 84 months, you are at $849. Okay, that is pretty crazy. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to let you see this, because I'm not going to type all this stuff out. But if you want to see it for yourself, here's my numbers. Hopefully, you can read that, and it's going to give you kind of some ideas, so you can screenshot that if you want, and use it when you start thinking about this stuff. If you're trying to figure it out, that puts it into perspective for you. Real world there, and show you what things are. But that's the reality today on a mid-size level. We're going to do this for full size, and we're going to do it for HD. Look at this beast right here. This, however, is a steal of a vehicle. Okay, we're talking about $50,000 mid-size. Heck, you're going to be 35 grand for even one of these little baby Mavericky things, today. And this is the world we live in. But look at this. Talk about this sweetie right here. Look at the size of this beast. It's got an 8-foot bed, full-size crew cab. This thing is a beast of a truck. Look at the size of that thing. It doesn't even fit in a parking spot. Look at how big that is. My buddy Joe, one of my photographers, one of my good friends, has been with me now for 20 years. He owns this exact same truck in an XLT. This is an STX based on an XL. It is, as you see on the back, 4-wheel drive. This is going to have the 7.3 in it. We got our tow hooks. We got everything we're looking for. We got the beautiful setup, fog lights on there, STX package, which I love. Massive bed back here. This thing's awesome. We're talking about $50,000 midsize. This is a $60,000 HD with a 7.3, 250, 4x4, 60 grand. This is a steal of a truck in today's world right there. You want to talk about contractor special, get her done stuff? That's what Joe does for a living now. He actually does all basement remodels, and he specifically bought this exact truck in a diesel to have that ability of that cap back there and to be able to fit his employees, his workers with him in the gear inside of there. So, like I said, great truck, but that is your mid-size world. That is your mid-size price world that we just got done talking about. Questions, comments, put them down below. Thanks for watching.